What about your tambourine, man? You know your tambourine has been there too, you know. Just light, you know, light. And then, you know, as long as we get it, I want to make sure we get it right rhythm. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, Brother Joe. This evening we're going to be talking to Oscar Joe Henry, who recently was performing on a DVD entitled The Best of Joe. So we're going to talk with him this evening about some of his career as an artist and some of the things that has inspired him to create this DVD. Good evening, Brother Joe.
Good evening.
Can we start by just talking about your career as an artist? When would you say that you first started considering yourself an artist?
I would say about 20 years ago, after I became a member of Evergreen's production, and I had the opportunity to be with Thomas Charles, band leader from Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
He was the mentor of the group.
Okay.
And he told me that I should play an harmony instrument, because you know, Evergreen, we just have the drums. And he, because myself and Rubina, so he was very impressed with us able to sing songs with just the drums.
Okay.
And he found that very interesting, and he always encouraged us to do it. He said because with an harmony instrument, you know, it's given is there, the timing, but we were able to do it without that. And he always encouraged me to. At one time he even told me he would write calypso and make me a calypsonian. You know?
Okay.
But then he passed away and that never happened. But you know, a lot of people, I would say, Brother Patrick Battersfield, George Abrams, apparently these guys know me more than I know myself, because they always encourage me to do things.
Okay, 20 years is quite a long time to be involved in a group.
Yeah.
And at the early days, can you remember some of the original players in Evergreen production? And how many of them are still here today?
Right now it's about 6 of us carrying on this group. A lot of them left for different reasons. At that time I think we had about 20. No, that's exaggerated, but we had a lot of people.
So of the 6 that remain, what do you think has been the key ingredient of your longevity? What has really kept the 6 of you together and continuing to produce music and performances all these years?
I think the friendship, apart from, you know, just going out there and do poetry presentation, we develop a friendship, genuine friendship concerned to each other. And because sometimes we would get together and just talk.
Okay.
Not only perform, but just talk. And I think that over the years, more or less, that kept us together.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more specifically about this project. What inspired you at this moment to create this DVD of your best performances?
I would say I was told and encouraged that as an artist, it's very important to put something down on wax. Mm-hmm. You know, put something down and you can look back and see where you capture some of your best moments. And then, you know, talking to a lot of people, I developed this way because the theme of this thing should have been, if you don't know, shut your mouth. Right. Because I run into so many people that would they just talk. No theme, they just talk and set their own agenda. Okay. And a lot of times, the people would come up, a conversation going on, they don't even know what the conversation is about. And they join in. Mm-hmm. And then they took it where they want to.
Okay, continuing on that theme, if you could simplify a message that you wanted to share through this work, how would you communicate that in maybe a sentence or so? What's the main message you wanted to share with people in doing this work?
I would say if you have an idea and you have an opportunity, you just go for it. And hopefully, with the encouragement of some good people that encourage you, it might work.
Okay. Okay. All right. Can we talk a little bit about your performing before Evergreen? Can you remember back to when you decided that you wanted to be a performer, or you felt that you had this artistic yearning to create performances? When did that start in your life?
It started back in Guyana during a strike. We had an 80-day strike in Guyana.
Okay.
And people used to get together, have penny concert, those who are familiar with that. And
Can you tell us a little bit more? What is a penny concert?
you pay a penny and ask somebody to go and sing or dance. And if they don't, if choose not to, then they pay a penny to stop it.
Okay.
But then somebody might pay a penny for you to do something and you don't even know who paid the penny.
Okay.
I remember one time I was at a concert and I heard somebody said, penny is paid for Joe Palooka. They used to call me Joe Palooka at one time.
Okay.
To sing a song. And just looking in the audience, I was able to know exactly who paid that penny because that was the only person who called me Joe Palooka.
Okay.
But you pay the penny to dance. If you cannot dance, you pay the penny to stop it. Some people would ask you to tell a joke. I remember one time somebody paid a penny for me to go and dance. At that time I was very shy, but dancing. And the young lady, man, she was there up. They mention her name, she was there. Because the fact that she was able to go up there before me, that means I would have to go up with the penny to stop it. But I think that was when, during the strike, another young playwright came up, strange enough. Cousin of mine, Lois, he used to write plays, short story, and we'll act them out, just for entertainment on weekends.
Okay. And you mentioned the idea of the penny concert. So, I mean, there's some monies associated with that, some fundraising associated with that. Was there an opportunity in those early years through the playwriting by your cousin and the avenue that they had during the strike to actually be entrepreneurial with your art? Was it a way for young people to get however modest income based on performances?
Strange enough, we just used to do it for fun. It was more fun. It's not, you look at it as a job or anything. But at that time, it was just pure entertainment.
Okay.
I didn't know exactly where the money went to.
Okay. Okay. So did you said that was your early start. Beyond the penny concerts and performing in short plays, were there opportunities for you to perform in the early years before larger audiences outside of the community that you just described?
Oh yes.
Just tell us about some of those performances.
Well, I consider myself always a show-off.
Okay.
And I used to work with my brother, do surveying, and 10, 12 people in the camp, but I was always there telling jokes, singing a song, dancing by myself. So I think it was something that was there. And when I came up here and get in with the group, and was when, because I remember I never liked poetry, but then I was told I can do my own thing.
Okay.
Tell a joke, a story. At one time I think I would want to be a stand-up comedian, but that didn't work out. I was encouraged to do other things.
So moving from Guyana to here, you said when you first came here. Exactly when did you first come here? What year was that? And how long before you got here you became involved with Evergreen Productions?
Oh, I came here in 1970. And as soon as I arrived, Brother Patrick drafted me. So he told me about the group, and I used to go around with them, listen to them. And then I was asked to do, I told Brother Patrick one time that I can do a program by myself. And I think he called it Notes for Jokes.
Okay.
That was it. I did a stand-up, put some stuff together. I put it on tape for him. And he listened to it, then he said, we'll do a program called Notes for Jokes.
Okay.
And this whole thing just took off from there.
So earlier in Evergreen Productions, the performances were primarily poetry. Just describe how you would describe the early performances of Evergreen Production.
Evergreen Production was a cultural group, poetry. That was Brother Patrick's passion and his dream about, he's a poet. He has several publications to his credit. And that was his passion, to develop young. He provided an avenue for poets, that they can do their work.
Okay.
And we used to invite a lot of people. Very good program.
Okay.
A lot of artists passed through there, poets.
Okay. Yeah. And you talked a little bit about your interest in harmony and stand-up and other art forms. Tell me a little, can you describe how you would say that Evergreen has evolved to do more than poetry? Now, how would you describe the group in terms of what artistic forms they represent?
Artistic form. I think what has happened, over the year we were able to come up with a beat.
Okay.
A beat. And Tom, if he was alive today, would have been proud of us. Come up with a beat that allows us to, as Brother Baba Moses would say, segue into different things. That's where we were able to incorporate the songs to the beat without the harmony instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was how happened, changed the whole group.
Let's talk now a little bit more about you as an artist within Evergreen Production. How have you seen yourself evolve as an artist through your 20-year association with Evergreen Production?
It's the confidence. You develop the confidence in yourself and you feed off the audience. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I was asked to MC a program. You find it difficult to stand up there and put words together, even introduce the people that were there, because you're nervous. But now, boy, just can't wait.
Okay, so you addressed this a little bit earlier, but let's talk more specifically about not only what inspired you to do this program right now, but just some of the inspirations, how did you know intuitively that this was the right time to present this work now?
I just had the feeling. I remember, based on the experience of this theme of, if you don't know, shut your mouth. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go back to that theme again.
I started to develop this whole thing.
Okay. Just some of the things. What are some of the... I think it's a very powerful theme. If you don't know, shut your mouth. But could you just explain that up to us a little bit more? What do you mean exactly? What are some of the things that made you feel like this was an important message to share right now? Anything in terms of current affairs or just incidents from your own personal life? Can you share with us some stories that...
Oh, yes. I remember one time I was sitting with some friends, and there was one individual in particular. He rather than answering the questions about himself, he became a storyteller. And the guy is not a storyteller. And I sat down and listened, and I said, I can't tolerate this anymore. Somebody should tell this guy that just shut up, rather than just going on and on and on. So one time he even went on to make a statement about, if you listen to talk radio, there's no need for you to go to school. And there was this professional that was sitting there. Allow him to get away with that statement. And I went to him and I said, nah, something wrong here. Then I started working on this theme and this project. I mentioned it to Patrick. Patrick would write a piece. He would call. He said, "Brother Joe, I want you to listen to this." And we do the same thing. Even when Rubina was here. And when I mentioned it to him, he said, "Brother Joe, overdue." And most of the people that I spoke to, all they said, "Man, go for it." And, so I used to get up early in the morning and just rehearse this whole thing, conceive this idea, and just keep on at it. But then there was a time I started to get scared. I said, when this whole project is finished, how would they look at me? So maybe because I had a stroke. And one lady told me, she said, "Brother Joe, the reason why you're still alive is because the Lord is not ready for you yet. You have bigger things to do." So I felt this was the big thing. So I started getting scared. I said, after this, that's it for me.
Okay, one of the things I think, particularly comedians are able to do this, to be provocative, to be controversial, to be contentious. Because if you just tell people, if you don't know, shut their mouth, they may be insulted.
True.
But there's a way in which you can present this, that it could be humorous, or it could be also informative. So when you were grappling with this topic, did you think about how it would go